Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ebony and I post weekly videos on bullet journaling, crafty things and just anything creative in between. In today's video I'm going to be creating some polymer clay DIY earrings. So this is a project I've wanted to do for a while now. I just had a hard time finding the right cutters, I guess you would say. A lot of the ones I was looking at getting online were pretty expensive and I wasn't sure if this was something I was even going to enjoy doing, so I didn't want to invest a lot of money in it. And then Kmart ended up releasing a set for like $4 and there was like 8 cutters in there, so I was like, yep, that's perfect. Although I will say you can definitely tell that they are cheap, like they're not exactly the best quality. They're really thick for some reason, which made it quite hard to push them into the clay, but they still did the job. I also got a set of, I think it was like 50 polymer clay colors on Amazon and it was really inexpensive. I'm pretty sure it was like $15. It was definitely less than $20. And so I assume that that's also probably not the best quality clay, although I've really not had any problems with it so far. And so for the first set of earrings, I wanted to give the, I guess it would be like 𝕎𝕒𝕥𝕤 style a go. So basically what I did was I rolled out a slab of white, but you could use any color for your base color. I just wanted to go with the white, and then I picked 4 of my favorite colors, and they're all sort of this pastel. So there's like a pastel purple, a peachy pink, pastel blue, and like a pastel yellow. And I thought they all looked really nice together. And that's also the color scheme I kind of went with for all of the earrings that I'm making today. But yeah, so basically to do this sort of 𝕎𝕒𝕥𝕤, so all you need to do is roll out your base color and then just pick whatever colors you want to be sort of your 𝕎𝕒𝕤𝕤 chips, and then just cut off or pull off random little bits of each color and just place them around sporadically on your base color. Then when you're happy with sort of where everything is, you can then roll back over the top of it. I did put a piece of baking paper on top for this because I didn't want any of the little pieces like sticking to my rolling pin. And yeah, then you just keep rolling over the top of it until they're all flattened into your base color. After I did my first roll over, I noticed there were a couple of like empty spaces, so I cut off a few more bits of my colors and just rolled over the top again. Then I used my clay cutters and cut out my shapes. I read somewhere to prevent the clay sticking inside the cutters that if you put like a piece of baking paper or cling wrap on top, then it prevents the clay sticking inside. I did try that out, but I think because, like I said, these cutters were so thick, it just wasn't going to work, so I ended up just removing the baking paper and pushing them in. And because they were so thick, it was really hard to push them in. I even had to sort of get my rolling pin on it and push down as hard as I could. So, I mean, the cutters did the job, but I don't know if I would recommend them. But then again, they were good for beginner. But yeah, because they were so thick, they left this sort of like lip around the edge, so I had to get my X-Acto knife in and trim that out as well. Then once you're done and you're happy with your shapes, you just need to get a tool to poke through the clay where you're going to be putting your jump rings or your attachments for the jewelry when you're putting them together. It's very important that you remember to do this before you bake them. I mean, you could probably use some sort of drill or file to get the holes in after it's been baked, but I just find this is a lot easier. With my leftover clay, because I'd made that pretty pattern, I didn't want to just waste it, and I also couldn't really just put it back because it is patterned now. So whenever I have leftover clay that I've done any sort of patterning with, what I like to do is roll it into little balls, and then I stamp a little image on top and I bake those balls and use them as diffuser stones. I read somewhere that polymer clay apparently isn't the best to use for this because it can break down, but I have been using them for a few months now and I haven't noticed any sort of issues. I'm sure that the kiln fire clay is probably better and probably lasts longer, but I mean, it's just leftover clay that I really had nothing else to do with anyway, so I figured why not. I also cut out some other shapes of the clay to do a few different pairs of earrings. I didn't really film that because it's just the same process over and over again. And then pop them onto a baking sheet and bake them in the oven. You should bake them as per the instructions that come with the clay. These ones bake perfectly fine for 15 minutes, and then that's exactly perfect. So I just did that, but definitely check the instructions on the clay that you use if you're going to recreate this. And then let them completely cool, and once they've completely cooled, you can put your jewelry fasteners on them. So one thing that I did not consider when I was making these was the size of the jump rings, and I only have one size of jump rings and they're quite small, so I did kind of struggle getting them on, and I ended up having to use a jump ring in between the two to join the two pieces together because there was no way I was getting one jump ring over both holes. And honestly, this probably took the longest, putting all these jump rings on each of these earrings, but it was worth it in the end. And I also got the jewelry fastenings from Amazon as well, and I'm pretty sure they were pretty inexpensive as well. And once you're done with that, you have some lovely DIY custom earrings. So it was a bit of a process and a learning curve, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I love this technique. I can see myself creating a lot more custom jewelry for myself in the future, and I think I do want to try out other things like necklaces and bracelets. What did you think of the earrings I created? Would you give this a go yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's video, and don't forget to, if you enjoyed this video, to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you!